This is the 1996 South Africa national football squad. All but 3 players either was playing abroad at the time or would go on to do so. And this is the 2023 squad, and only 2 players, Lebo Motiba and Lyle Foster, are playing in one of Europe's 5 elite leagues, in France's Ligue 1 and England's Premier League respectively. The 1996 national team won the Africa Cup of Nations, lifting the trophy while hosting the tournament that year, and remarkably reached an impressive 16th spot in the FIFA rankings, reaching heights that few could have imagined.
Yes! South Africa have got a goal! And South Africa have broken the deadlock here.
Since then, the South Africa's national team, or Bafana Bafana as they are referred, have failed to make a lasting impact. South Africa have not qualified competitively for a World Cup since 2002. The team's failure to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar marks the 3rd consecutive absence since their memorable hosting of the 2010 edition, where they finished 3rd in Group A. That early exit gave them an unpleasant title of being the only host nation in World Cup history not to progress beyond the group stages, until Qatar 2022. Since 2010, the team has also missed out on qualifying for 4 of the last 7 AFCON tournaments, and has not won any major trophies for over 2 decades. So, what really happened? After winning the African Cup of Nations in 1996, things looked promising for Bafana Bafana. They followed their 1996 success with a 2nd-place finish at the 1998 African Cup of Nations after Egypt. The team then earned their first appearance at the FIFA World Cup in France, 98, and also qualified for the 2002 edition of the World Cup, where they earned their first World Cup victory in a 1-0 win against Slovenia. Around that time, boasting players such as Benny McCarthy, Stephen Pienaar, Quinton Fortune, Lucas Radebe, and Mark Fish emerged, all of whom played in the English Premier League. In the period following the 2002 World Cup, leading up to the 2006 edition, South Africa would go through 4 head coaches from 2002 to 2006, but neither coach was able to match the successes seen between 1996-2002. South Africa failed to progress beyond the group stages in the 2004 Africa Cup of Nations, and failing to even score a single goal on the 2006 AFCON, thus not qualifying for the 2006 FIFA World Cup after being beaten by Ghana. In preparing for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, which South Africa had been awarded the right to host, former World Cup winner Carlos Alberto Pereira signed a 100 million rand contract, covering 4 years from 1st January 2007 to 2010 as head coach. Under his management, South Africa was expected to improve, but early signs were not good as they would exit the 2008 Africa Cup of Nations and also not qualifying for the 2010 edition of the tournament. But after some decent performances leading up to the global showpiece and a huge victory over former world champions France in the first round of the World Cup, South Africa would only manage to finish 3rd in the group stages, booking an early exit and becoming the first host nation to fail to progress beyond the first round of the World Cup. Bafana Bafana's performance throughout the years has been marked by a mix of promises and frustration. While they have shown flashes of brilliance and occasional success in international competitions, inconsistency and underachievement have been persistent issues. Despite having a pool of talented players, the team struggled to qualify for all World Cup tournaments following 2010, and failing to make a deep impact when they eventually did qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. Former Bafana Bafana player Hans Vonk believes the lack of South African players in Europe's top 5 leagues from England, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain impacts the national team's performance. In the years leading up to '96, The South African domestic league was basically semi-professional. Players had jobs in the day and then went to training in the evening. If a player wanted to make it as a professional, the only chance they had was to go abroad. The desire to play abroad is now not the same today. Players are well paid in the PSL, South Africa's top league, so there's no motivation to really push them to the next level in their careers. Current coach Hugo Broos recently stirred controversy by saying the PSL was not strong enough to equip players for the international stage, and that while the domestic league is well organized and marketed, it does not meet global standards. The rise of West Africa as a key source of players from the continent has also constrained South Africa's chances. While South African players are often considered technically skilled, they tend to have a smaller physical stature compared to players from countries like Nigeria, Senegal, and Ivory Coast. What also to note is that European clubs are also skeptical of signing African players directly from the continent to offer lucrative contracts, as they are not sure how they will adapt to a foreign environment. They far prefer to sign players at a younger age, or those who have already proven themselves in Europe. Neil Tovey, former Bafana Bafana player and South African Football Association technical director, believes while the squad has talent, the lack of leadership and poor mentality from the players may be another key factor behind the inconsistency and a fall in performance, and believes if this was to improve, South Africa can qualify for the expanded 48-team World Cup in 2026.